I hope you're enjoying the canapes and the champagne at Claridge's. As usual, it's wonderful to be in this prestigious location. And I think tonight we've got one of the best groups of people we've ever had in the room. So once again, thank you all so much. And thank you very much to our sponsors, Ceridian and Open University Business School, without whom we wouldn't be partaking in such a lovely networking evening. So thanks, Doug, and thanks, Sue. Now, we have noticed this year that quite a lot of people on our lists are quite big on social media. So please do your tweeting, Facebooking, whatever you do. We've got a hashtag which is hashtag HRMI. Quite easy, HRMI. So have a look. We've got some people ourselves doing it, so be careful what you say. For the next few minutes, I'm just going to quickly run through the sort of a little bit of the methodology as to how we come to this to the lists that we unveil every year. I'll then run through from reverse order, the top 3 in our most influential practitioners, most influential UK thinkers, international thinkers, and then our new category, which is the reader's choice. So it's quite a complicated little methodology, and I'm not going to go into a great deal of detail here, but just so you're aware, we start in the spring with me developing a panel of headhunters, former HR directors, academics, and come up with a list of people in the HR sphere who we believe fit a number of different criteria. The names that we get there are then sent to an expert panel of 50 people, of which I think there's 2 or 3 in the room here, but obviously if I'd invited 50 people here, then I wouldn't have got the rest of you in. So I'm afraid they missed out on the great night themselves. They're all from sort of business associations, some more headhunters, former HRDs, CEOs, so everyone who's got a real knowledge but different interests in HR. As you come in, you've seen probably our rotating screens on either side. These are all the people who have made it onto our list this year. They're the people who were deemed to be the most influential in their individual sectors. So well done for any of you that are on this list. We actually had 92 people across 16 sectors. So you can tell it's not forced because it would have been much nicer to have 100. But we couldn't actually come up with 100, so 92. And if you're interested, it appears that the best place to be influential in HR is manufacturing, as we have 12 people on the manufacturing list. Retail's quite close behind with 11, but anyone who's been observant will have noticed that there's one particularly poor industry, construction. So if I can see him, well done Richard Latham from Persimmon. Yay! So when we go to the expert panel, we actually ask them to rank their top 5 and to give reasons for their ranking. And that's what, first of all, gives us the actual ranking, but also gives us the sort of depth of knowledge we're really trying to find here, which is how is influence changing, and what do people in that very broad stakeholder group think is influential. And to add to that, Ashridge Business School, our research partner, have also done some qualitative interviews with CEOs, and you'll be able to find out more about that in the subsequent write-ups. But very interesting to see trends that we do find each year and things that have come out as stronger one year to the other. So I'm going to start by inviting up our sponsor, Doug Sawyers from Ceridian, and we're going to do a quick run through of the top 3 in reverse order on the HR practitioners list. So Doug, can I invite you up, please?
Thanks very much, Sian. Good evening, everybody. Ceridian is absolutely delighted to be the sponsor of this event for now the 9th year in a row, since inception actually. And also, I'm personally delighted that I'm still the managing director of Ceridian UK and Ireland. It would have been such a mouthful to Ceridian England, Ceridian Scotland. Just shows you, and just reflecting on what can happen in our world. You know, if we go back 9 years, probably nobody in this room, or indeed almost anywhere in the UK, would have predicted that such a big potential event as the seismic change that nearly took place last Thursday could have happened at all. So it just shows you what happens over a period of time. But as I say, absolutely delighted that Ceridian's once again supporting some of the greatest thinkers and doers within the world of HR. What I think we can say is that over that period of time, the influence of HR has increased, and I think I'm very confident in saying that the influence of HR going forward has never had greater potential than it has in 2014 and into the future. So with that, I'll just pass back to Sian, and then we'll start getting to the important bit.
Great, so the most influential practitioners. Now, for the purpose of our definition of practitioner, we actually talk about directors who are either practicing HR at the moment, who have gone on into another director job, but have come through the HR route, because we feel very strongly that we need to see more of those. So you might get some chief operating officers, managing directors, people like that. The list is developed using the criteria that you see here. I won't run through them all, but this year we have 17 new names on our top 30 list. So quite a lot of change this year. So when it came to the panellists, what did they say was what marked out someone who was influential? I won't again read through these. You'll see all of this in all of the write-ups that we do and on the website that we're launching tomorrow. But just so that you can get a bit of an idea. You'll see very strong things like delivering substance, delivering transformation, strategic, but also delivering on transactional issues. So our top 3 for 2014 also shared something else in common, and that's not being afraid of a challenge. So let's see who they are. Number 3 is someone who is described as having such commercial savvy and business nous, it really shone through compared to others. She has professional excellence and a great contribution to the wider profession, demonstrates the kind of business value that brings kudos to HR, and has done an amazing job and is now taking a major risk to go into the lion's den. If you haven't gathered yet, number 3 was Valerie Hughes-Daith, HR Director at the BBC.
Just to say, I'm really shocked, really surprised actually. I hadn't realised I was even eligible actually, because changing jobs. I've only just moved. I finished with Amy at 31st of July, just moved to BBC from 1st of August, so 2 months in, and an awful lot of challenges, an awful lot to do. But, you know, really, really, really pleased for this. It's a real shock, actually. I had no idea I'd get this. So thank you ever so much, and hopefully it will make me feel better in days when I've got real struggles and real challenges on my hands. I'll try my best for the profession. Thank you very much.
The person who came second is actually our highest entry of the year and is very well regarded for their impact on social media. Such brilliant comments on this person. It was very hard for me to choose some, but things like generally making themselves available to the profession. Unlike most blogging, tweeting, etc., he is actually insightful. An iconoclast on a mission to sex up HR. And finally, and I love this, if you're in the room, whoever said this, a very naughty boy. Our second place is Neil Morrison from Random House. Thank you, Random House. Now, I think I know from Neil's PA that he was going to try and rush over without me actually trying to give away why we needed him here. He was between different meetings, but I don't think he's been able, I know we're in contact, but I don't think he's been able to get here yet, so we might have to see him a bit later. So finally, who tops the most influential list, annual practitioners list this year? This person has considerable savvy, is charismatic and accessible, a top performer in a tough industry, making a massive impact on the HR profession. He's another one with a very strong social media footprint and is probably, and a number of people said this, the most high-profile HR professional in the country. Yes, it's a hat trick for Dean Royals, who's now Director of HR and OD at Leeds Teaching Hospital.
I always get sort of stunned about this, because like Valerie, I've also just changed jobs. So I'm 2 weeks into my new job at Leeds Teaching Hospital, so it really is a surprise. I mean, I guess working in a organisation like the NHS, the thing I've tried to do is not to be sort of clever or to have great HR advice, but just try and be thoughtful on the sorts of things that we're trying to do in a difficult climate for people that are doing an invaluable job day in, day out. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
So on to UK Thinkers, and I'd like to invite Sue Parr, head of our partner, head of executive education. Too long a day today, 4 o'clock start, at Open University Business School. So if you'd like to come on the stage and do your welcome, thank you.
Thanks very much, Sian, and thank you for being the one who fell over my name, because sometimes I do it myself. And good evening, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. The Open University Business School is delighted to be sponsoring or co-sponsoring this event for the first time, not the 9 years as my colleague earlier. We're obviously very excited to be involved with influential practitioners and thinkers in the area of HR. It's something that's very important to us. And great to see all the issues that I think we would identify as being very significant, influencing, networking, transforming, and clearly also the growing emphasis on social media, which to a university based so much on online working is enormously interesting to us. So thank you very much. It's a delight to be here.
So this was the criteria for the UK Thinkers. And they did this a different way. This year we asked for reader nominations, and the way we did it was to ask them to nominate people who are HR directors, to nominate a book, a white paper, a piece of writing, something that they'd read in the past year that had really had an impact on them, that had made them think differently about what to do in their profession. So not surprisingly, there's 9 new people out of 20 on the list this year, once we took that criteria into account. So what were the qualities our expert panel admired? Very, very strong on the evidence-based arguments this year. In fact, I think that comes through in the vast majority of the thinkers who made it on the list, which is actually the first time in all this time that we've seen that as such a strong point. So on to our number 3. So this person is actually very well noted for their evidence-based HR. He clearly articulates his argument and is pushing forward thinking. This year, one piece of work particularly stood out for this person. It was provocative, it was critical, very much based on evidence. And when I mention Engage for Success, you might know who I mean. Our third most influential is Rob Briner, Professor of Organisational Psychology at Bath.
Okay, thank you very much for this award. I'm delighted. The first thing I want to say is if I am the third most influential HR thinker in the UK or the world, God help the rest of everyone else, because I don't feel in the least bit influential, I have to say. The other thing I'd say is the way I suppose I want to be influential in my thinking is simply to get other people to think. And I think it's reflective in the awards tonight. We've got one stream for practitioner, as though they don't think, and we've got another stream for thinkers, though they don't do practice. And of course, the truth is, as researchers, we practice, we teach, we do research, we interact with organisations, and of course, practitioners think all the time. So if it's one, I suppose, thing I'm picking this up for, it's not for me, it's not for my thinking, but it's just for the idea of evidence-based practice. And I urge all of you to go onto the Centre for Evidence-Based Management, SEBMA website, and check out what we do, because I think that's the most important thing HR can do right now, is think about evidence-based practice. So thank you very much. Thank you.
So, second place, somebody who leads with aplomb and connects with all. A progressive approach to the HR profession and not afraid to take a stance. Moving the profession forward through a strong focus on business, strategy, and the global economy. Our second most influential UK thinker is Peter Cheese, CEO of the CIPD.
Thank you very much, and it's probably not unconnected to the fact that I sit on the board of Open University Business School. No, merely coincidental, but I've been in this role for 2 years now. It is an unbelievable time for the profession. I said from day one, there's never been a more interesting, more important time, and I profoundly believe that. I, for one, and I know all of us in this room, believe in this profession. We believe in what we can contribute, and the context in which we're now operating is one where we have this opportunity to add so much more value to every enterprise which we serve. And certainly my role as leader of the CIPD is to help the professional body to get to where it needs to be, to support the profession, and to work with folk like you in the room, which is an unbelievable gathering. I was saying to Arvind, if we could gather the collective wisdom of this room, I'm quite sure that collectively we can make an unbelievable difference to the profession. So I set him the challenge of next year, since you've done such a great job in pulling this group together, is let's see if we can use a bit of the time when we are together to kind of debate the big issues. But again, thank you so much for HR Magazine and the sponsors, Ceridian and UBS. It's a real honor and a real privilege, and I'm just totally thrilled, so thank you.
So who can top those two great people? Well, our top thinker is another person who's really big on social media and in the press. He shapes the thinking of a broad audience, not just those in HR, and I think that's a very important point. Sound, practical, relevant, well-connected, a great advocate for well-being, which might give it away, and this year recognised with a knighthood. Our most influential thinker is Carrie Cooper.
I do work in the field of stress. I'm stressed, let me tell you. You almost had me and my granddaughter. I have a 15-month-old granddaughter, and I was going to have tea here before the event and then bring her in to look at I'm glad I didn't. I would have been shocked. This is really wonderful. And I think it's really wonderful for all the people who work in the field of health and well-being. You know, really important, the health of the people we look after, right? It's not just remuneration, talent management. It's how we treat people in the workplace, I think, is so fundamental. That's been my passion, and it continues to be my passion. But I just wanted to thank you all. Really unexpected. And I don't know what else to say, but thanks again.
So in our International Thinker category, we have an astonishing 17 out of 20 new people this year. In fact, I must congratulate Pat Wright, who's in the audience. Well done, Pat. You're one of the very few to have been on it for a few years. I think that deserves a special award. As usual, the influence of American academics and writers was very clear. So unfortunately, we couldn't get everybody over tonight. So I'm going to whiz through these quickly. But in third place, somebody who was seen, one of our number ones actually a few years ago, a name that you can still conjure with, a really clear thinker. It's Rosabeth Moss-Kanter. Number two was seen as the leading voice in change management, and wasn't someone that the profession always agreed with, actually, but certainly took notice of. It's the first time this person's appeared on our list, and it's John Cotter. Harvard doing very well, I think you'll note. Our top-ranked international thinker sprung straight into the top spot, actually, out of nowhere. And this is where looking for people who'd done something very active in the last year really made a difference. She's a key player in innovation. It's having a strong impact, in particular on women's leadership. Was seen as an example of rigorous thinking, so that evidence rigorous thinking came through again. And her background as an economist brings a unique perspective to talent management. Our top thinker was Sylvia Ann Hewlett. We did cheat and tell her when I found out she couldn't come over, so we have a little... There we are.
And a huge thank you. It's such an incredible privilege to be named one of the most influential thinkers in the international space by this amazing organization. And I particularly appreciate the ways in which this society, this organization has lifted up the status and the significance of human resource management around the world. I think there has been, such a and that's largely through the work that you all do. The other thing that I resonate with very much is that this award was partly a result of the rank and file vote of this organization, and that gives me a particularly appreciative and warm sense of the backing of this very thing.
There we go. So now, on to our new category for this year. So as I said earlier, all the HR directors mentioned in our core most influential practitioner list are voted on by our expert panel. But we wanted to see would our general readers, would the wider HR community agree with the people that our expert panel voted on? Would you be surprised to know they didn't? We opened this up to a general vote. If I was going to give someone an award now for the one who seemed to be most loved by their staff, or did a great internal communications job, I'd really be pushing it between Mark Sandham, Julie Welsh, and Richard Latham. If you're in the room, well done. If it was suppliers who were obviously expecting to be renegotiating quite quickly, I'd be handing out the top one to Darren Hockaday. Well done, Darren. If it was for mentoring and motivating people in their HR team, then there was one person who came top, and that was Jabbar Sadar. As it was, I'm afraid to say, I removed all current employees, all suppliers, friends, family, dogs, and everyone else. So we came up with a top 10. Some of those people, by the way, still make it into the top 10 when you do take that away. So here are the top 10. I'm just going to invite the top person onto the stage, actually, but I thought I'd give you the top 3 for now. Our number 3 person has a vision to see what a business could become. They were seen as a strategic thinker who inspired and a true role model. I think I'm going to have to go through that. There we are. It was Tanith Dodge from M&S. Number 2 was an excellent HR leader, combining strategic insight with an approachable style. This person's ability to assimilate briefs at such speed was highly impressive. They can multitask on diverse portfolios in a pressured environment, and somebody said that was almost child's play for them. Our second reader's choice was Jeff Tranfield, the Group HR Director of IMI. So who do HR magazine readers and the wider community think is the most influential? Who are they looking up to? This person had so many accolades from so many people, it was again quite hard to choose some. An inspirational leader, demonstrating strength and confidence in strategic thinking and directing in equal measures, nurturing and developing the best out of teams. Highly influential in developing commercial results through a truly motivated team. His knowledge of his sector and his people was incredibly detailed. He's generous, wicked, a wonderful sense of humour. And one person said, you know, all the candidates on your list, and our list for this was everyone who appeared in our sector lists. And everyone got some votes, by the way, everybody. One person said, I think all of the candidates possess a lot of what's really good, but I'm convinced that only this person mastered them all. Our most influential reader's choice was Eugenio Perrier from the Dorchester Collection. Eugenio, are you here?
I really just wanted to say thank you very much. You can probably tell from my accent, I'm actually originally from Canada. I moved to the UK 8 years ago, and I started reading HR Magazine pretty much right after I got here. And I've always seen these types of lists, and I've always aspired to be on them, and I'm just completely honored to have been acknowledged. So thank you very much, everyone.
So that's it for the main presentation. In a minute, you're going to see these screens on the side will change from all the people on the sector list to the top 30 ranking of HR practitioners, top 20 UK thinkers, top 20 international thinkers, and our top 10 readers' choice. So they're going on a very slow rotation, so plenty of time to read them. We're also launching a new web channel on hrmagazine.co.uk, which, if everything goes okay, we'll be launching tomorrow morning. And there you'll see everybody who's made any of our lists, including our Making Waves list, which are people to watch out for. There's bios, there's links to various things. I've spent the weekend reading 146 different biographies, so do excuse me for being a bit jaded. We're going to be adding to that over the year with more profiles, thought pieces from our sponsors and various things like that. October issue has the write-up from the event, and then in November there'll be a special supplement that will come with the magazine, so make sure you're getting your magazine, and also free to download on the HR Magazine app. So just a couple of housekeeping. Anyone who's on the lists that are about to appear, there is a certificate for you to pick up. Anyone on the list that are currently running round, we will be sending you your certificate. And finally, a big thank you to our expert panelists, our great sponsors, Ceridian and Open University Business School, Ashridge for doing all that hard work in interviewing people for me. And finally, just all of you for attending. I think we've got a fantastic group of people here today. I personally think it's the best. Next year's our 10th anniversary, so let's make it even bigger and better. And I'll see you then. Thank you.